Hello and welcome to the latest Anyaral Kickstarter campaign. It's been a couple of years since our last campaign, but this time I've decided to do something a little bit different, just because I like making life difficult for myself. So this is your opportunity, if you back the campaign, to play a full narrative campaign in Twilight, developing your characters and perhaps even influencing the world of Anyaral and what happens next. For a change, I've decided that this time I'm going to try doing a little unboxing to give a bit of a hint of what to expect. This is all a bit different to normal. I should warn you that things are likely to change a bit for the final version, but the overall design is very nearly there. So this here is the deluxe 2-player version. So we've got a standard version, deluxe version, and then a deluxe 4-player version, but for this one I'm just going for this set. One of the obvious differences between the basic version and this one is that this one comes in a nice neat little box. The deluxe version basically allowed me to avoid compromising on what I wanted to do and keep these nice little features. So you've got a seal, you've got ribbons, all that sort of business. And throughout the whole campaign, it's going to have more little seals, nicer paper, and just some little upgrades where I can, as well as cards for all the important models. So basically, this is the version I wanted to create when I started doing this well over a year ago. So I know that some players won't really care about all those funny little extras, so I've done a more pared down version, and that's the standard version. But the rules and the game exactly the same between the two. So now I better try and open this box. So it comes nicely sealed. Let's see if I can do this neatly. All right, here we go. So first thing you'll find is an introduction to the city of Teralin. It's got fun places to visit. It's a slight print issue of this one, but it's going to be done professionally. It's fun places to visit, important people to know in the city, a map of course, and then some useful little bits like naming guides to help you name your characters throughout the campaign. You really don't need that, but I had a lot of fun writing it, so let it aside. Then you've got to have an introduction note, which will tell you the basics of what the campaign's about, and a bit about the different sides and who you might want to choose. Definitely you need to read that one before going any further. Most important information, don't open stuff randomly. There's a system to the whole thing. So then, there are a couple of letters. Don't just open these, they're not addressed to you just yet. So I'll set them aside for the moment. And we've got a few stat sheets in here, just because, so all the new models, this is a place where you can have the stats and the rules for them. So you've got the Teralin, you've got the green cloaks. So the Teralin are basically the loyalists, and you've got some Teralin and Olawani. Then we have the green cloaks, and that's if you want a nice little law-abiding force. Or you can go for Arvon and his business associates if your morals are a little more flexible. Digging a bit deeper, you'll find lots of sealed envelopes and a few little boxes. Don't be tempted to open anything just yet. You've got to wait until you're instructed to do so. Otherwise, that would somewhat miss the point of this campaign. So, these two little boxes. We have one for the loyalists and one for the dissidents. They may be sealed, they may be not. We'll see how it goes. The loyalists are basically the Teralin leadership. They're the wealthy people in the city with their fancy noble guard, and they've got strong loyalties to the Delgon, who are currently guests in the city. The dissidents, on the other hand, they're more the working classes, and they're just not very happy with the Delgon, and they really don't trust them. So the basic set will have nice little envelopes holding these, but if you've got the deluxe set, you'll get little boxes to keep all your stuff together. And again, largely the same contents. Once you've decided who will have each side, you'll take your box and your letter, and you can open them up and find out more about who exactly you're playing. Let's have a look at the loyalists first. I'm not going to open the letter, I'll save that for the campaign itself. But inside the box, each box contains a nice little introduction note telling who you are and what you think, what you should be thinking, and a model, most importantly, of your character. For this campaign, for this particular box, I'm trying very hard to avoid any single-use plastics. So they'll come in a little cardboard paper envelope probably, and you'll get your model. And I put the wrong box in the wrong model, but hey. So this is Alan Dyer, previously painted by Joe. So you'll also have a little stat card for your character that through the campaign, you'll update this. You've got little experience tabs, price, and it kind of gives you everything you need to know about the model. I loved playing Necromunda and Blood Bowl when I was a kid, so I've always wanted to do some proper character development in Twilight. You won't develop all your force, it's not every single model, that doesn't really work for this style of game, but you'll get to develop just a few individuals, and you'll find out more about that after your first game. But trust me, Alan won't be your only character during the campaign. Put that down there. There's also these little gems. You get 6 little gems, and these are called Sentiment, and they represent how popular either the Loyalists or the Dissidents are across the city. So for a 2-player campaign, there are 12 in total. If you've got a 4-player campaign, it's 16. And during the game, you'll get told what to do, when to give these to your opponents, when to take them from them, and it all depends how your games go. If you ever hold 10 Sentiment, then there's a little envelope in the bottom that you get to open, and that might be a little treat. If you've got the deluxe set, your box will also contain a few reference cards specific to your force. So that's that one. Dissident Force has very similar contents. Getting started, slightly different themed. They tend to be for the different forces. There's Alan mixed up the two. And this would be Sergeant Jarno. He's the plucky young sergeant who wants to make the world a better place. And then we got his character sheet that'll be upgraded through the games, and your sentiment. So, and that's pretty much it to begin with. There are a whole load of extra cards and envelopes in there, but you want to ignore those for the moment unless told otherwise. And these 4 little boxes, definitely don't want to open those. I've sculpted a few special models that I've kept very secret for the last year or so. And I like the idea of keeping these secret, nice surprises for you as you get through the games. But I know some people don't like surprises, so if you really, really want to see them, I'll share pictures on a spoiler site so you can have a look if you really want to. But I like surprises, so I hope you'll take that approach. So that's everything from the basic set. But maybe now we should open up the first game just to have a look at what you might expect. Now, so each game has a little envelope. So if I just break the seal, I should say these, I had a lot of fun making these seals. I've got one made for a few different things. So this seal is the city seal for Teralin. So it's nice and neutral, everybody can stand behind that one. There are also seals for Danikan's house crest. There's that. And a couple of others as well, but we'll find out about those as we go. So if I break the seal, I managed to do it neatly. You'll find in here the basic instructions for the game itself, telling you what to open, who to open what, and the basic forces, and all the basic instructions for the game. And the other side, all the special rules. Most of the campaign packs, scenario packs in the campaign are a similar structure. We've also got suspicious looking escalating violence envelope, so don't open that now. The first person to cause some bloodshed will get to find out what's in there. I'm not going to tell you whether it's good or bad. And then we've got 2 little envelopes, one for the Loyalists and one for the Dissidents. So let's have a look. There's not too many surprises in this game, so I'll open this one up. Dissidents. So again, breaking the seal, that's a different seal. And in here you find we've got instructions and force lists, and this is more tailored, so you open this in secret so your opponent doesn't see what exactly you're told. Usually it's the same, but I like to have some surprises. And you also get to write your force lists in here. You don't get any choice with this one. You've just got Sergeant Jarno and a couple of his companions, Greencloaks or Militia. And on the other side, there are a few citizens around who might be getting angry. So the first scenario is basically Alan Dyer has arrested a couple of ruffians who've been out graffitiing and causing trouble, and is busy escorting them back to the watch house. Meanwhile, Sergeant Jarno has spotted this and isn't very happy at the idea of a couple of kids getting arrested. So decided to stand in the way and say, no, this isn't happening. Given that it's just her and a couple of his colleagues, that might have not been the best plan. However, so hopefully the angry citizens with their fruit might be helpful. And this one, I've added a card. These are probably going to be just temporary printed cards, but I'm looking at whether I could do formal, sort of the normal cards as well. But it gives you all the stats and it gives you something to keep track of during the game. And I think that'll be largely enough to show you for now. I don't want to give too much away. Once you've completed the first game, you'll get to open the conclusion envelope, which is down here, Game 1 resolution, and that will then tell you what to do next, and so on and so forth through the campaign. There are 4 main games, plus a few little extra games that you can squeeze in between if you've got the time. So, and I think that kind of brings it to a close for now. I'll stop waffling on. And I hope that has given you a little insight into this crazy little narrative campaign that I've created. It's probably the most challenging sort of Kickstarter campaign I've run to date, and has been a lot of preparation. But I've got to say, I'm really excited now to see what you guys make of it. And I really hope you'll join me on the campaign on the Kickstarter, and then tell me all about how our games go. Thank you.